Okay, so welcome back to this set. Today we're going to be talking about, I have something here that actually you can't see it at all because I'm lighting shit. But it's a mirror with blacklight reactive chalk penning that says baked news. The problem is though, I should put the blacklights over there, except I haven't done it yet. But anyway, what we're going to do is this video first because it's far more important than how shitty my set is. Alright, first let's talk about a topic that's near to me. I was going to say dear, but not really. Berkeley, specifically the riots at Berkeley. Now, I've previously covered the firework incident at Berkeley, and I think I made this statement. Big PSA here. Don't fire fireworks at the police. So, I don't remember seeing any fireworks throwing in the latest video, so that's nice. But what I have seen is people beating the shit out of each other. Yeah, no, I don't think we're supposed to do that. Beating the shit out of each other seems to be unreasonable. Now, I do know that there was a whole Nazi punch thing, which I also thought was pretty shitty. But at this point, both sides have gone fucking crazy and then are just beating the shit out of each other at this point. And last I checked, that's how you get martial law and that's how you get fascism. So I don't know what either side's goals are at this point. I think they're all just kind of fucking stupid. That's why I also, of course, have still not been to Berkeley. And if I try to go in there now, it's pretty much a war zone. Actually, I can't go there now because the BART station there is closed and I don't have a car. So, hey, I can't even go to Berkeley if I wanted to right now. Thumbs up. Berkeley's great, but let's talk about further away from here, say the Middle East. Trump's been blowing it up a little bit. Trump blew up a bit of Syria because of a chemical bombing. But the chemical thing was not as bad as another chemical thing that happened in 2013 that he said Obama at the time should not retaliate against Syria for because it's a bad idea. And you know what? I hate to admit it, but in 2013, Donald Trump was correct. Getting into a random war over chemical bombings, not a great use of our resources. We have a smaller instance, and after Ivanka Trump apparently was a little upset about the victims in Syria. Oh man, time to throw 59 Tomahawk missiles at their bases. And then, oops, didn't actually remove their ability to use chemical weapons whatsoever. I also love the fact that in the middle of the one interview, Trump mixed up Syria with Iraq when just describing where he bombed. You see, the reason why Trump mixed up Iraq and Syria is because they actually have a rule book here that they've been using lately in our government where it's like, okay, so here is our flow chart on how to handle the Middle East. And what the thing is, they had it recently filled in for Iraq, and they haven't updated it since after going from Afghanistan to Iraq. So they just took this flow chart and he just used it again, and that's why he accidentally said Iraq. I'm not completely done with this situation there because I need to talk about Sean Spicer real quick. Oh man. How did he get that job? I mean, I know that he sucks Trump's dick. I get that. How did he get that job? He does not make them look good. He doesn't. If I was pro-Trump, I would want this man fired. Like, after the first fucking gaffe. Every other fucking goof has been ridiculous. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, he's anti-Semitic because he said Hitler didn't gas the Jews. No, I don't think that's actually the case. I think he is reasonably aware that Hitler was an actually bad person that actually killed Jews. He's just completely retarded and doesn't understand how that actually went down, doesn't understand history, and in fact probably doesn't understand anything. So therefore, what one should attribute to malice actually is best attributed to foolishness, stupidity, idiocy. Although in the end, it ends up being kind of malicious in the end because this guy is in a position of fucking power. I wonder how long until they try to arrest me for doing this legally in my state. This could be fun. It's gonna be real fun when that happens. I'll be real glad when that happens. My little stress relief, pain relief option here is gone. That's gonna be good. I'm gonna be happy when that happens. No sarcasm at all. Nope. Not even a little tiny fucking bit. Fucking cheers, everybody. World War III is this close to happening because a bunch of people who didn't pass high school are in charge. Disclaimer, I have a GED. I technically Didn't pass high school either. At least I know my fucking history. Fuck. Actually, that being said, I bet if I actually looked into Sean Spicer's history, he does have a high school diploma. And once again, like I said, he apparently did not actually pay attention or retain any of that information long term. What a fucking shame, huh? Alright, let's talk about North Korea. So North Korea is essentially what happens if you take the United States and add about 500 years and take away the internet. And people were freaking out, and I was also freaking out because they were this close to doing a nuclear test, and Trump was like, if you even consider a nuclear test, we're going to blow the shit out of you, which would immediately start a serious conflict, blowing up a bunch of people, not only in North Korea, but in South Korea, because North Korea would fucking retaliate, obviously, and start blowing the shit out of South Korea and anything else. They would be lashing like a fucking wasp nest you just disturbed. It's a bad fucking plan. At this point, I almost don't see the point in engaging North Korea, because as China up north develops and as South Korea develops, it's getting harder and harder for people on the border to accept the narrative that they're being fed by their government, and that can only possibly spread inland, from my point of view. Not that that's a perfect situation, and North Korea is such a brainwashed fuckery, it's a really almost inapproachable subject, but here's the end result of this story. They did the test. But luckily, Trump didn't try to blow them up. Actually, no one tried to blow them up, because the test failed immediately. The missile started to launch and blew up. I'm willing to assume it wasn't a proper nuke, because their whole test facility would probably be gone right now. I'm willing to guess it was just a dummy, but still, the test failed. Does this reassure me? Not that much. Does it make me giggle a little bit? Oh, of course it does. But, point is, it's the usual North Korea. But Trump is not helping it, or at least, this general aggressive tactic is just not helping it all at all. It's a fucking wasp's nest. You gotta let it just age out. You cannot just, if you're gonna blow it up, you have to burn them all to death, and then there's a huge fucking problem with, oops, you're killing so many fucking innocent people for no reason, just because you don't like this monarch regime that's controlling this piece of land. That's unreasonable. You can't do that either. Oops. So, North Korea, as usual, remains a fucking mess. And their test failed again. There's really no moral of the story, actually. I think I was saying there was a moral to the story. I couldn't really get to a moral of the story beyond, let's just not try to blow up North Korea just yet. It's not a good idea. And then finally, we'll talk about the last piece of news coming back to us in the United States here. Or, to be exact, United Airways. Now, before I get into the big story, since everyone knows the big story, actually, let's talk about the big story first, and I'll talk about my little story. A gentleman got the shit beat out of him, and he was dragged off a plane. What the fuck else am I supposed to say? Okay, there's obviously more to it. Let's get into that real quick. So, the story commonly going around is that they overbooked. However, the correct story is that they did not overbook, but they wanted to just put extra employees. They just wanted to put from point A to point B in a different airport. That was a 5-hour drive instead of a 2-hour flight. So instead of, doing the drive, which, by the way, the rental of a car for them all to get there, or a limo even, would have been cheaper than reimbursing a single one of those passengers on that plane for even $1,600. But they were offering up to $1,000 per passenger at some point to voluntarily get off the fucking plane. It would have been cheaper to drive the employees up there. And now the lawsuit they're going to face is so astoundingly expensive. Their stock prices dropped a fair bit. Although I've heard they're stabilizing, of course, because United's a bit of a monopoly in some locations, so you have no fucking choice. Oops. No one mentioned that. And, of course, the fact that police are sitting there heavily on the side of corporations. It's a little scary, to say the least. And the fucking CEO doubled down. Policy. I'm proud of my employees. Our policy. Regrettable this happened, but policy. Dude. Anyway, so United is shitty. And treats people like shit, and they've fucked over people for a long time. I have a minor bit of fuckery myself, and I've never used United since as a result of my minor bit of fuckery. when I was moving from Florida to California, I used United because they're cheap and I'm poor. Oh man, I should have saved up just a smidge more. Okay, so the flight had one layover, which is reasonable. I've been on layovers before. And my first plane, was late. But whatever, I'm not in a huge rush, right? I figured the other plane would calculate based on that, or something would be adjusted based on the fact the first plane was like 45 minutes late. I know. So the other plane left either right before we landed or as we were landing. So there's no physical possible chance we could have caught that plane. So a whole bunch of people, including me, were shoved into a hotel in Texas for about 5 hours to be shipped off onto another flight. Yay. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was pretty shitty. It's a lot better than getting the shit beat out of you, but wow. How empty had that plane been? Like, did they really just take a plane off with almost no one in it, possibly? Just imagine that. Just a United plane with almost no one on it. It's like, well, they're not here yet. Time to go. It's on the chart. Not even gonna check for updates like, oops, the plane's late. You know, none of that. Who cares? Fuck it. United's just a clusterfuck of a fucking airline to begin with. They aren't good at what they do. But they've been doing it in such a massive scale for so long that they're able to make it work. It's kind of like, really, most rich, corrupt people or corporations when you get down to it. They've rolled the dice so much, and in some places, they're the only choice, especially with ISPs, and United for that matter. You have no choice, and you're fucked. All you have is like, move away. Hope you have a better corporation to roll the dice with, because either which way, you're probably fucked. Especially the United States trying to get internet, you're probably fucked. Oh well, let's just have another one of these, and we'll end off the video.